present in opposition wishing to speak? Jeff Wittenbrink. And if I messed up your last name, as you introduce yourself, please correct me.
That's fine. You did fine. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the committee. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. I'm also just a lawyer. I've been practicing 37 years. Yes, sir. Jeff Wittenbrink.
Okay.
Wittenbrink. 37 years I've been practicing law. I've been practicing more constitutional law in the last 5 years since COVID. I happen to go to these Republican meetings. They happen pretty often here in Baton Rouge, and so I know personally Mr. Jenkins and some of the other members of the RPAC. I just want to say that the previous witness is absolutely correct, and that this proposed legislation is absolutely unconstitutional. Several Supreme Court cases, and I see you rolling your eyes, Representative Thomas. I have the cases here in front of me. I can give you citations. You versus San Francisco County Democratic Central Committee, Tashijan versus Republican Committee of Connecticut. These are two United States Supreme Court cases. They're two Louisiana cases that follow those cases. One was ruled by the local federal court. This is how strong this law is. The Republican Party, the Democratic Party have First and 14th Amendment rights, freedom of association and freedom of speech protected under the First Amendment, Representative Thomas. They come to the state through the 14th Amendment. So this went to the federal court in front of Judge James Brady, and he said that the state has to have a compelling interest to put any kind of burden on the election of representatives to a private Republican Party or a private Democratic Party. They've had it on both sides of the aisle. This kind of thing happens occasionally in Louisiana, where the legislature, the state, you all remember, you are the state. The state does not have the right to interfere in the governance of these parties to the extent that the parties acquiesce to these laws. And I would tell you that 18444, basically the RPACs have agreed and abide by these things voluntarily, and they elect their own officials. But to the extent that the state wants to intervene into the internal governance of the party, it's completely illegal and completely unconstitutional, and it will be summarily dismissed. It was summarily dismissed in federal court in the case of the Republican Party of Louisiana versus Tom Shedler, who was the Secretary of State. This was back in 2011. The other case went in front of the Louisiana Supreme Court, and that was with Mike Foster as the governor, Louisiana Republican Party versus Mike Foster. So these things have been decided. It's absolutely the law. You can vote for it if you wish. The problem is you're going to ask the state to then defend this legislation, which is terribly flawed. Now, the other thing you're going to create...
I'll let you finish that sentence.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Is a built-in conflict of interest when you have incumbent legislators and other members of the party that get appointed to the PAC. Now the PAC, we have an endorsement committee, okay? So is the endorsement committee going to be free to say, look, we don't want to endorse Representative McMakin. We think he wants to meddle too much in local Republican politics, so he doesn't get an endorsement. How is that going to work when his other elected officials are also on the team? So I just have to say, you're setting up conflict in the party. It's illegal. It's unconstitutional.
We have a question for you,
Yes,
Representative Marcel.
Thank you. Sir, you said that you are a constitutional lawyer.
I don't.
I've
had some constitutional cases. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how long have you been practicing law?
I've been practicing law 37 years. 37 years.
And you are a Republican?
Yes, ma'am. I'm a Republican.
But you're not on the RPAC.
I'm not on the RPAC. I just, I actually, this was the thing that was amazing. I was first struck by the fact that this thing was also going to allow designees of these folks. Now, that was removed in the amendment.
You've been sitting here all day to voice your disapproval of this bill.
I just, the waste of resources, the waste of time, the waste of a court battle, because I'm going to have to volunteer to do this.
And right? Okay, that's what I'm getting ready to ask you next. So how much do you think this case might cost the state of Louisiana. What you're saying is, let me ask it a different way. If this bill should pass out of here, you are going to file suit immediately, I presume?
Well, I would wait and see how it played out. I'd let see if the Republican. So look, the Republican Party could just say, "Okay, we agree. We're going to let all these guys come on, and they're all going to be members of the RPEC."
But did they not just vote?
They just voted that they weren't going to do it.
Okay, so I thought so.
It would depend on how badly these folks really wanted to sit.
Okay. I just wanted to know. I was trying to figure out the cost.
Certainly it would raise litigation. It would cost a lot of money.
Right. I was just trying to figure out the cost. It would cost us fiduciary, doing my fiduciary duties.
In my experience, when you go against the state, the cost is inestimable.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a new terminology I'll have to add to my. All right, thank you. Appreciate your testimony.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.